For both the prelim and my final product, I used a tripod. In the prelim, we used a handle to maneuver the top half of the camera so it was smooth. It was a lot easier than using your hands because the result was quite shaky. In my actual film, however, I didn't have the handle to maneuver the tripod, so I had to be very inventive about how I moved the camera and tripod around. One of the most inventive ways I came up with was trying to use a skateboard to pull my tripod along, but it came out very shaky. In our prelim, it was the first time we actually had the cameras and we could mess around and experiment with them. We used a lot of camera angles and shots to see which ones we preferred and just to experiment with them. The image quality was the same for both my prelim and the actual film, but I think I was unfortunate to get a dodgy camera both times because the other groups have crystal clear quality in their films. On the longer shots, it is harder to notice the camera quality, but it's very grainy up close, even with bright background light. The sound was good in both my prelim and my final product. It was sharp and clear in the prelim, but unfortunately it also picked up some background noise, including some children doing PE outside the classroom. I was glad of the quality because I was able to create interesting effects using the diegetic sound that the camera picked up in my actual product. I use these to create different moods of my film. For example, the reverse sound of the sea coming back over the pebbles sounded strange and slightly alien. But the sound of the pebbles landing in the sea that Hannah threw created a peaceful effect and kept the mood slow and calm. Continuity was a problem that we'd learned about in our prelim. We filmed most of it on the first day, but we had a few shots that needed tweaking or reshooting. For this, Zoe and Sophie needed to bring in the same clothes they'd been using on the first day of shooting, so when we had to reshoot, it was continuous and they had the same clothes on. This actually made the final prelim smooth and didn't have any continuity errors. Unfortunately, the same could not be said for my film. After completing my rough cut, it was suggested that a few close-ups of the protagonist in the classroom would be useful to gauge how she felt about her peers. But on the day of the reshoot, my actress Hannah wore her jacket in the classroom, which she hadn't done in the original shoot. This was partially my fault because I hadn't picked up on the mistake, but it was a very rushed shoot. Other than this, the continuity of both the prelim and my own film was very good and I'm very pleased with it. In the prelim, we had to include a match-on-match shot and the use of the 180-degree rule. Our match-on-match shot, which is a shot that shows someone travelling from one place to another smoothly, was of Zoe coming through the door. With some help of some editing, we managed to do this really smoothly.
Zoe, have you done the homework?
What homework?
You know the media one?
In my film, I didn't use either match-on-match shots or the 180-degree rule, but I did use a range of angles and shots that I had experimented with in my prelim, especially wide shots, which are very common in independent films. From the process from my preliminary task to my actual film, I've learnt to be patient and to be imaginative. I had to be imaginative to be able to make my film work in the end because of the tripod issues. I also had to be patient because not everything can be shot and edited and finished on the same day. Some of the shots took 3 or 4 goes to do, and on maybe 1 or 2 days. But overall, the persistence is definitely worth it,